Good evening. When Pakistan-backed terror singled out Hindus and killed them at Pahalgam, a Pakistani cricketer, Shahid Afridi, he was actually taunting India, saying, "You've lakhs of soldiers in Kashmir and yet Pahalgam happened. Iska matlab, tum log nalaiko, nikamme ho." Words to that effect. He wasn't the only one. There were other Pakistani celebrities who were mocking India. Mahira Khan, for example, she called Operation Sindoor a very cowardly act, accusing India of genocide and war crimes in the past. Fawad Khan, another actor, he was shedding tears over targeting of terrorist camps, and he expressed deepest condolences to the families of those who were killed and injured when India targeted terrorist launch pads and training camps, including at Bahawalpur and Murid. And even though Government of India claims Operation Sindoor is still on, several of these Pakistani accounts were initially blocked, then unblocked, and now after nationwide outrage, blocked again.
Pakistani YouTube handles unblocked and then blocked again. A glitch in India's Pakistan policy? No terror and talks. But terror in sports is okay. Is it time to draw a clear red line for Pakistan? Big focus on India first.
So you have film stars in India who are making films with Pakistani actors. Cricket and hockey matches are happening, of course not bilateral but multilateral. Even though Pakistan has taken no action to address India-centric terror, the government first unblocks and then after nationwide outrage blocks these Pakistani social media handles once again, with some rather bizarre explanation or excuses being peddled by unnamed sources to journalists. Why? They say there's a glitch. They say at least some of these handles haven't spewed venom for some time. This wasn't a permanent ban. But do keep in mind, Pakistan has followed one consistent policy to bleed India since its inception, since 1947. Pakistan has been bleeding India through 1,000 cuts. The flip-flops are only on the Indian side. Why? Is it that we lack a consistent policy in dealing with that radical Islamist terror state and its citizens who peddle the state's agenda? We debate that. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Let's, as always, get started with the headlines on India First. Huge relief in sight for car owners in the capital. Delhi government to rethink life vehicle policy, denying fuel to old cars likely to be put on hold. Ghana confers its highest civilian honor on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister addresses the parliament in Ghana, says the world's progress cannot happen without voice of the global south. Karnataka's sham caste survey exposed, no real census, just pasting of stickers. CCTV images reveal the caste count eyewash. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah insults the khaki gestures to slap a senior cop upset over black flag protest. Insulted cop seeks voluntary retirement. Shubman Gill becomes the first Indian captain to hit a test double ton in England. He now holds the record for the highest test score by an Indian in England. Blocked, unblocked, and then blocked again in a matter of hours. That's what happened to social media accounts and YouTube channels of some Pakistani celebrities, news channels, anchors, and social media influencers. The same accounts that were blocked during Operation Sindoor in response to the Pahalgam terror attack. They became visible in India. Suddenly, they were there, continuing to spew venom against India in some instances. Of course, government said, at least through sources, that they had improved. They were not spewing venom against India in some instances. But there was nationwide outrage because Pakistan has followed one consistent policy to bleed India. The flip-flops are only on the Indian side. So the government once again blocked these handles and then blamed it on a technical glitch. What happened? Let's find out in this report.
Chaos, confusion and conundrum in the political corridors. A massive political storm erupted on Wednesday when some banned social media handles of Pakistan celebrities were visible once again in India. These popular accounts of celebrities and influencers were banned after India launched Operation Sindoor in response to Pakistan-sponsored Pahalgam massacre. These accounts were found to be spreading misinformation against India. Shahid Afridi and Shoaib Akhtar, who spewed venom for India, were at the receiving end along with other prominent personalities. After outrage brewed online, the government swung into action and these YouTube pages were blocked once again. An inside scoop on India Today reveals that some social media handles of Pakistan celebrities, including YouTube, X or Meta, were visible due to a technical glitch and was rectified at the earliest. However, this technical glitch explanation has given opposition fresh ammo to corner Modi government.
पहले तो आपने बैन लगाया, लोगों ने खूब उसकी वाहवाही करी। जो लोग हमारे खिलाफ जहर उगलते थे उन स्पोर्ट्स स्टार्स और पाकिस्तानी फिल्म स्टार्स के ऊपर बैन लगा, उनके सारे अकाउंट्स बैन हो गए, पाकिस्तानी चैनल्स बैन हो गए। फिर आपने एकदम से यकायक कल शाम को वो बैन हट गया। जब आक्रोश हुआ तो अब आपने पुनः बैन लगा दिया है।
With both supporters and critics upset at this temporary U-turn over a very important national security issue, the government does find itself with a lot of damage control to do. Bureau Report, India Today.
Does India lack a consistent policy in dealing with Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror? And should a distinction be made between the state and the people? And can such a distinction be made when not just prominent anchors, but even some people on the streets in Pakistan openly want Indian film stars, Indian actresses and Indian women as sex slaves after Operation Sindoor? They've said that they want Indian actresses to be Male Ghanimat or war booty, sex slaves. Joining me on this India First special broadcast is Sushant Sareen. He's a senior fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. Dr. Tara Kartha is former National Security Council Secretary Director. Abhijit Iyer Mitra is a senior fellow at the Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies. Suresh Shamal Gupta is the founder and president of All India Cine Workers Association's Mumbai unit. Ashutosh is a senior journalist and analyst. Sanjay Jha joins us as an analyst on the special broadcast. I have a huge panel. I quickly want to cut across to Pranay Upadhyay joining me on this special broadcast. My colleague Pranay, what's the government's explanation for the ban, unban and then ban again?
Look, Gaurav, when the Twitter handles or the Meta handles or the social media handles of these entities were blocked by Government of India or by these platforms, that was on the request of Government of India, and now they got unblocked because of the technical reason. And what is the technical reason? As per the government sources, the technical reason is that the ban cannot be a perpetual thing. It has to be, backed by certain rationals and some legal documents, and that's why if those documents are not there in place in time, then they automatically get unblocked. So the moment it came to notice, the same has been furnished by the Government of India, and after the emergency review, those social media handles got blocked again. But this also shows, especially for those who have been asking and raising questions that what does it entail and what it can result into. Why have we blocked these social media handles? This clearly shows that unless if you don't block these handles, they keep spitting venom against India, and anti-India hatred is being spread by these social media handles, and that's why Government of India again proved the rationale behind it, that these social media handles need to be remain blocked because their trajectory, their track record is well proven that what they spread in India and using the freedom of expression for their for the wrong reasons.
Stay with these. Sanjay Jha, government says Operation Sindoor is still on. And yet, some of these sites get unblocked and then blocked again after nationwide outrage. In your appreciation, is this lack of consistency? Do you buy this glitch explanation that sources in the government are offering?
Hi, good evening, Gaurav. I have a couple of points to make. Number one, and I think it's important to address them. They're very germane to our conversation today. Number one is that one star who's been in the news is Diljit Dosanjh. And I want to draw attention to what he said because he's been in the news because of his film. And he said that he's always believed that music is a unifier, that end of day, there will be people across boundaries who will be united by just the love of culture, tradition, music, and love. And I don't think we can ignore that. You know, for example, right now we are seeing a situation in India. By the way, like it or not, every country is playing an information war. And as per the last reports I read, we were ourselves the misinformation and disinformation capital of the world. In fact, a lot of people believe that the pro-Israel social media trolling originates from our country. So we can debate that another time. But the larger issue is that if Mr. Modi's government put a ban on all kinds of engagement with Pakistan. Did it stop Pulwama from happening? Did it stop Pahalgam from happening? Can anybody assure us that despite the fact there will be no people-to-people engagement, will it put an end to all kinds of hostilities? And the most hypocritical, we play Pakistan, but in neutral centers. I think that's so farcical. We played a T20 World Cup in a neutral venue with Pakistan. I mean, who are you trying to fool with these extremely, in my opinion, immature, infantile, and absolutely crude level of diplomatic games that one is playing? So I think we need to
Let me
understand
bring in
that the
Sushant
government has
Sareen.
to take a call.
Sushant, okay. Sushant Sareen, you agree? Juvenile, infantile, India's entire approach to Pakistan, and Sanjay Jha says we are the disinformation campaign, capital of the world. Are we in a way then giving a clean chit to a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror and all the disinformation that comes in from there?
Yeah, these are the puerile arguments which we've heard for many, many years. And, it was said, why do you have a restrictive visa regime with Pakistan? Because terrorists don't take visas and come. Actually, terrorists did take visas and come. And in any case, the point is that you don't make it easy for terrorists by giving Pakistanis visas. So that is, so this is the kind of argument that Sanjay is making. But there are a couple of points on which I will agree with him, but I'll come to that in a bit. On this whole issue of this technical glitch, I find it the most disingenuous argument, Gaurav, for a very simple reason. Are you trying to tell me that the government officials who are in charge of implementing government policy are not aware of their own rules? Are you trying to tell me that when the government decides that they will not allow the disinformation and the misinformation and the propaganda campaigns and scurrilous lies which comes from Pakistan on social media, that this was a considered decision and not a knee-jerk capricious decision? Now, if the answer to that is very clear to my mind, then it should have been clear to the government. Now, when you impose a ban, for example, on a terrorist organization, there's a time limit even to that. In some cases, it's 1 year, in some cases, it's 5 years. Before the ban lapses, the government officials in charge will go to the courts to ask for an extension in the ban. We've seen that in the case.
Absolutely.
Are you trying to tell me that these clowns in these ministries in the government today did not know that this had to be done? Are you trying to tell me that they just let it lapse because they're such big idiots? So there are very serious questions which need to be asked of these characters. Secondly, I agree with Sanjay. And I believe that, look, if we are taking as a government, as a state, as a people, if we are taking a strong stand against Pakistan, then the price is not just to be paid by the soldiers on the border. The price has to be paid by BCCI. It has to be paid by the Hockey Federation. It has to be paid by the Wrestling Federation, by the Kabaddi Federation, and by Diljit Dosanjh, right? Everybody has to pay that price. So you can't say let the soldiers go and die, but we will continue to play cricket because otherwise we cannot hold a cricket match in India. Now,
Let me get...
just let me make two very quick points. Russia was not being allowed to play many tournaments and not being allowed to come into many music competitions, did anyone say that, okay, fine, we will not hold music competitions in Europe? So either we pull our weight or we say we are not going to be participating in that. And I will agree with Sanjay on that. And one last point I wanted to make, Gaurav, which is that, when you are talking about the people versus the state, I say that yes, make a distinction between people and state. But do the people of Pakistan stand against the policies of their state, or do they stand with the policies of that state?
Yes.
And all these jokers whose accounts have been banned were actually parroting the policies of the Pakistani state. They were not opposing jihadism. They were not opposing terrorism. They were not opposing what happened in Pahalgam.
So
Right?
let me take it to Ashutosh. Let me bring in Ashutosh before I bring in Dr. Tarakartha. Yes, Ashutosh, why should only the soldier at the border pay a price? Two things. You think our civil society engagement, Diljit Dosanjh, should he have a Pakistani actress in his movie, or that shouldn't be permitted? Should we play multilateral cricket or make an effort to have Pakistan ousted from ICC? Every Indian has to be part of it. You agree, or you have a different take on it, sir?
See, Gaurav, I think first of all, the government of India should come out openly that what is their doctrine and what is their concept of Pakistan state per se. I think there's a lot of confusion on that issue. You remember when Operation Sindoor was happening, then Indian foreign minister was seen to be talking and telling that he spoke to the Pakistan concerned and said, we are not attacking the Pakistan army. We are attacking only the terrorist organization. And then the Prime Minister of India was saying that we are taught a lesson to the Pakistan. Now the issue is, if you are fighting with Pakistan, and if you believe and convince that Pakistan is inflicting 1,000 cuts to India and also inflicting such killing our innocent Indians, then why there is a distinction made between the terrorist organization operating from the Pakistan and between the army and the people of Pakistan? People of Pakistan, army, their government, and the terrorist organization, why they are not clubbed together and to be taken as a Pakistan as a state? No. And look at the background. The background is when the Prime Minister Narendra Modi was sworn in 2014. Nawaz Sharif was invited. And then what happened? He was going somewhere and suddenly he dropped into the Lahore and met Nawaz Sharif again. And when
on his way back from Afghanistan, yes.
When the Pathankot happened, then I was just really surprised that ISI was invited to investigate. So what is government of India? That is Modi government's politics. What is their national security doctrine? What is their defense doctrine? Do they make a distinction between the army and the terrorist organization? Or do
Let
they
me
think
now
that
get
the
Dr.
army,
Tarakartha
which is really
to weigh in on this.
terrorism?
Let me get Dr. Tarakartha, but I'll come back to you on the point about civil society and films and cricket, Ashutosh, in just a moment. Dr. Tarakartha, you heard Ashutosh. Are there too many flip-flops in the way the government is dealing with Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror and their civil society?
Okay, I'm going to just say this out, okay? I never normally don't do this. That was the dumbest argument I ever heard. I mean, you don't understand what war is? You don't, what do you mean? But the India doesn't know the difference on what's Pakistan policies that we don't understand. This is how you conducted war. You conducted it in an absolutely, strong, decisive manner, and with each grade. I mean, I can't understand how a senior journalist can't understand this. You hit the terrorist camp because that was your objective. When they hit back, you hit them back as hard as you could. I'm sorry, this is absolute rubbish. But in terms of the other aspect, the fact that, see, in any review, when you're going to meta, etc., there is a process involved, and then they have to come back to you. So sometimes there is a bit of a lapse. When you're banning terrorist organization inside India, that process is entirely different. So my assumption is this. Number three is, see, the among those, I mean, there are the one you quoted. I'm not even going to take his name because he's poisonous. He's sheer poison. The one who said that about our actresses. Such people, flat out, just don't let them in. But I think some kind of review is necessary because some of those, see, I'm an analyst. I need to know what is going on in Pakistan. And a lot of some of those sites which were blocked, for example, there was protests in POK. We never got to hear. So you need to have some review at some point of time to see who can be unblocked, who should be blocked, and who should continue to remain so.
Okay,
But now,
since you made a direct point about Ashutosh, he wants to quickly respond to you. Ashutosh, quickly respond because, Tara Kartha analyzes this very, very closely and she says the argument you're offering, sir, is absolute rubbish.
See, Gaurav, this my argument is really a dumbest argument and a rubbish for the simple reason because it doesn't suit to the government of the day. And those who are supporting the government openly and doesn't want to be critical and just want to impersonate as a specialist will always find. But where did she or did anybody, did the whole country did not see that how the foreign minister of the country was speaking on the ANI and what he was saying? You are telling to the whole world that we are not attacking you. Look, who is Asim Munir? Who is Asim Munir? Is Asim Munir a saint? Why government of India did not want to attack the Pakistani army to begin with? No. And then you are telling to the whole world that हमने पाकिस्तान को election सुना दे. This is the government which called ISI agent to come and investigate the Pathankot. So yes, I am getting the dumbest argument. But what about those who are openly and vulgarly supporting government?
Okay, Dr. Tara Kartha, you must respond, but even Sushant Sareen has his head in his hands. Why that? Before I bring in Abhijit and Suresh Gupta, Sushant Sareen, quickly, sir.
No, I don't want to be impolite on television, but yeah, I think the simplest word to say is, yeah, he's doubling down on dumbness. That's the simplest thing I can say. For a very simple reason. You can keep repeating the same lies over and over again and keep repeating the same nonsense over and over again. It has been explained plenty of times, right? Sometimes you give a long rope to the enemy, as you did in Pathankot. You did not invite, as Ashutosh says, you invited ISI. No. There was an investigation team coming from Pakistan because the Pakistan Prime Minister at that point of time had promised a dispassionate inquiry into that entire incident. And if you wanted the Pakistanis to go after the terrorists, you had to let them complete their inquiry, which is why you said, okay, fine, if there's a group coming, let them come. And they were not taken into the operational control areas of the Pathankot airbase. But people like Ashutosh, because of their blind Modi derangement syndrome that they suffer from, they will keep repeating the same lies over and over again. Dr. Jaishankar very clearly says, as we did, it was a public announcement that was made after the first attacks were taking place under Operation Sindoor, that we have attacked terrorist base camps. We are not attacking any civilian or military targets in Pakistan. We are only attacking terrorists. If the Pakistanis come in the aid of terrorists, then we will club them together, which is precisely what we did. Now, if in Ashutosh's brain, he cannot process this, then that's his problem, not our problem.
Okay, since you've said, I wanted to bring in Suresh, but since you named Ashutosh, sir, you want to quickly respond? I want to bring in. Yeah, go on, sir.
I love these abuses from those who are supporting the government because they are out to kill. No. I did not.
No, not on this broadcast, sir.
I did not disturb you. I'm not here to make my career by supporting government openly. I'm very clear about it. The fact of the matter is has any other government invited an ISI agent as the part of inquiry committee, what the BJP stand would have been? The government of India did not know that the ISI was engineering all kinds of terrorist activity in the country. And you are inviting one of the the delegation in which this ISI agent was there. You let him go into the Pathankot, who was engineering, who has inflicted that kind of injury to the Indian nation. But the fact of the matter is, if they talk something like this, if they criticize the government, they will not be on the TV channels and they will not be getting promotion in the career.
But I want to stay on this simple point. India gave Pakistan the long rope. Fine, we will let you come down on ground, investigate. When they took no action, this time no dossier was given and Pakistan was bombed. But it's only an argument I'm offering. But I also want to bring in Suresh Gupta into this conversation since Sanjay Jha raised the issue of Diljit Dosanjh. Suresh Gupta, what is wrong if people-to-people contact is maintained? After all, that Pakistani actress is not a gun-wielding terrorist. What is wrong if she's a part of an Indian film, sir? Why are you against it, sir?
2019 में जब पुलवामा अटैक हुआ उसके बाद पाकिस्तानियों ने भारत के सारी मूवी पर प्रतिबंध लगा दी और उन्होंने कई मूवी पहले प्रतिबंध लगाई, जैसे रईस मूवी एक था, टाइगर, पैंथम, ऐसे कई मूवी। जब पाकिस्तान हमारे मूवी को प्रतिबंध लगा रहा है उसके बाद भी हम वहाँ के लोगों को लेके काम कर रहे हैं। पुलवामा अटैक हुआ अभी हाल ही में, पहलगाम हुआ, 26/11 से कई आतंकवादी हमले होते जा रहे हैं और उसके बाद भी हम पाकिस्तानी कलाकारों को लेकर भारत में काम कर रहे हैं। और ये वही पाकिस्तान है जो आगे भी हमला करेगा। पहलगाम आज हुआ है, फिर वो करेगा। अभी अमरनाथ यात्रा चालू हुई है, वहां के लोग पाकिस्तान से सुरक्षा करने के लिए हमारे जवान तैनात है। किस लिए तैनात है? पाकिस्तान के सेफ्टी, भारत की सुरक्षा के लिए। बार बार ये आतंकवादी हमले कर रहा है, उसके बाद भी हम चुप रहते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं गलती हमारी है, क्योंकि हम स्टैंड ले नहीं पा रहे। दिलजीत की जो बात है, दिलजीत हमारा भारतीय है, उनसे कोई खफा नहीं है, लेकिन जब आपको स्टैंड लेने की बात आती है, आप ना मूवी कोई बड़ी बजट की नहीं थी, आप चाहे तो सीन काट सकते थे, मूवी को रोक सकते थे, लेकिन आपने उसे चलने दिया। तो ये बात हो रही, स्टैंड लेने की बात हो रही है। और सबसे पहले बात, जो भारत की सरहद को, सीमा को जो सुरक्षित रहते हैं हमारे जवान, आज उनकी जान जारी शहीद हो रहे, हजारों की तादाद में उन्होंने जान दी है और हजारों की, सैकड़ों की तादाद में सिविलियंस आतंकवादियों ने मारा भारत में। उसके बाद भी हम फिर भी पाकिस्तान को मौका पे मौका दे रहे और पाकिस्तान फिर आतंकवादी हमले कर रहा है। कहीं ना कहीं गलती हमारी भी है। ये बार बार हम भी थक जाते लेटर लिख लिख के कि प्रतिबंध लगाया जाए। हम भारतीय होने के लिए हमारा भी कि भारतीय को, पाकिस्तान को पूरी तरह से बॉयकॉट किया जाए।
ये बड़ी बात आप कह रहे हैं।
हम ऐसे करते हैं कि पाकिस्तान फिर दूसरे हमले का तैयारी करते रहेगा।
You know, people like Diljit Dosanjh or those close to him, when they say when this movie was being shot, India was not at war with Pakistan. That time, Pahalgam hadn't happened. But Pulwama had already happened. And we've been bleeding at the hands of Pakistani state-sponsored radical Islamist terror since 1947. For some reason, we failed to rise as a country, or people-to-people contact, they should be maintained, even if people like Mubashir Luqman or others say, Indian actresses, yeah, war booty, male ghanimat, bring them back as sex slaves.
Look, I don't know who this Mubashir fellow is. Clearly not important enough to be noticed by anyone except for his outrageous statements. But it's important to remember that there are no rules against bringing Pakistani actors in. I think we need an act which comprehensively bars any Pakistani from profiting from Indian money. You can't expect the citizen to go over and above the rules that the government deems fit to enact. So why are we placing the burden on Diljit Dosanjh? I think the burden has to be on the government to enact anything. YouTube should not allow a single view of a Pakistani channel from India to be monetized. Same with Instagram, same with Twitter, all of these. Ban only works up to a point. You see, you can bypass it with VPN. So this is very much a case of the government, we can go screaming about this as much as we want, but the fact is the government has to enact legislation. Second, there are two cases out here with the first banning and lifting. The first is, there are two kinds of regulation. One where there is a timeout, where all bans are time bound and get automatically lifted. If that was the case, who was the officer who was designated to review this when the lifting came up? There is clearly a case of a error of omission. Unfortunately, in India, we don't criminalize it. I have long said it needs to be criminalized, which has to come up. Officer, minister, whoever it is. Second is a case if there is a ban in permanence, in which case it transitions into a crime of commission, because somebody has clearly seen that there is a ban and has decided to go ahead with it, with lifting the ban, even when when the Prime Minister has very clearly said that there is a pause in Operation Sindoor, it is not over yet. Yes. The third thing out here is we no longer make that distinction between the state and the terrorist. The Prime Minister made that very clear on his 10th of May speech. And I think the West has led in this. You've seen how, famous composers like Valery Gergiev and things were sacked by the Munich Opera, by the Munich Symphony Orchestra and things. Russians are denied visas to come to Europe. We need to learn from Europe and America. I think, what George Soros, these global leaders like George Soros and Pierre Omidyar have made countries like America and Britain and France and Germany do to the Russians should be our template. Why is it that we're condemning Diljit Dosanjh but not the BCCI? Tell me why.
Absolutely.
They're all so proud of the fact that we have the BCCI by the short and curlies. They dance to our tune. Tell me, tomorrow, if we say that we're going to walk away from the Asian Cup, what is going to happen to the Asian Cup? Who is going
Let
to
me
watch?
let me take that to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, if terror and talks cannot happen, terror and cricket should not happen, terror and movies should not happen. Shouldn't there be a nationwide approach in this, sir?
Gaurav, first and foremost, I'm glad we are having a civilized conversation on a difficult topic. Let me add a point here. Are we not ignoring the Pakistan and the Indian diaspora that lives abroad and, in my experience, lives even through difficult times without getting into any animus or into all kinds of what I would call as deep visceral hate or violence. There has been some it happened in the UK a year or 2 years ago, but by and large, Indians and Pakistanis abroad live in great degree of camaraderie and good spirit, which
Till the time
tells you that as
Pakistanis come in
governments,
larger numbers like they do it at Leicester, and then they start targeting our temples, and then they start killing our people, and then they start raping our women,
Gaurav,
and it's happened. Pakistan has massive grooming gangs, massive in the United Kingdom. Dr. Tara Kartha wants to come in. I want you to complete that point. So, sure.
But
Complete your
Gaurav,
point.
let
I'll
me
come to
finish
Dr.
my
Tara
point.
Kartha.
Gaurav, let me finish my point.
Go on,
I'm
sir.
saying that there have been sporadic instances. I said it myself. I actually owned up to it. So this is not anything new. My larger point is, on an overall basis, I have seen it. I travel quite a bit, and I've seen Indian and Pakistani communities living in peace together abroad when they're fully aware that the countries may be in military conflict, and Pakistan has done
Sir,
cross-border
perhaps they are not directly in the fire like Indians are in Pahalgam and in Mumbai, the city you live in. 200 massacred in 2006, 257 killed in 1993, 166 massacred during 26/11. Dr. Tara Kartha, is this something that we really need to move against? Does the civil society engagement help, madam, in bringing peace in your appreciation? Cricket, hockey, films.
Gaurav,
No,
I believe
this
confidence
point
building
of
measures
time,
should never be
sorry, can
abdicated.
I
That's
just
my
finish
point.
what I'm saying? At this
Okay.
point of time, when Op Sindoor is still on, how am I going to explain to my soldiers that they may get into another fight, they may get killed? But you know what? It's okay to play hockey and the rest of it. At this point of time, no. And what Abhishek, the earlier speaker
Abhijit.
said, this is all
Yeah.
Abhijit, sorry, this is about monetizing. There's a lot of money in cricket. There's a lot of money in films. Sorry, it can't be done. What is a soldier on the border going to think about this? But however, I still say there are channels in Pakistan. By the way, that person you mentioned is people hate him in Pakistan also. They said some of the things he said was shameful.
Yes.
So you need to dominate the narrative. You can't go on banning things. It's
Okay.
not that's not the way you have to get into the information space. So
Yeah, but how
don't
do you dominate a narrative when that narrative is काफिरों को मारो, ये काफिर हैं, इनको मार डालो? That's the narrative that comes from that country based on religion. Abhijit, you want to come in, and so does Sushant. My simple point is, we come from a country where you had Bhama Shah, who gave his entire wealth to Maharana Pratap to fight the Mughals. He said, देश रहेगा तो पैसा भी आ जाएगा. Fight Maharana, fight. But you have BCCI that wants to mint money and doesn't want to get out of an international competition. Is my understanding flawed, Abhijit?
It is 100% accurate, Gaurav. And let me tell you, these people-to-people contacts are another big money spinning machine. All they do is take taxpayer money, either the UK taxpayer or the American taxpayer or the Indian taxpayer. And the only thing I've seen for the first day that happens at these track 2 events is they sit and compare frequent flyer miles on Star Alliance and One World, who got a business class upgrade and who did not, who got upgraded to a suite and who did not. There is massive money to be made in all these track 2 tamashas. And what do? They come to Delhi and sing God knows what. I mean, half that nuance is lost on 99% of this country. But we have to sit and endure it in the name of peace. We go there and we put up whatever vahiyat dancing or singing or whatever, some self-referential nonsense that keeps happening out there. actual, what did we end the insurgency with all this track 2? Today the insurgency is over. There is terrorism, which always happens. In fact, at the end of an insurgency, terrorism will peak. Remember, Beyant Singh, the chief minister of Punjab, was killed in a bomb after the insurgency had ended. Tail end insurgencies will always see terrorism. This people to people contact is the biggest overrated nonsense. They use it to infiltrate us. They use it to create sympathy. They use it to create, fifth columns and things like that. It is the last thing we need. We will lose absolutely nothing.
ओके सुरेश गुप्ता जी, ये बॉलीवुड के एक तबके को ये क्या प्यार है पाकिस्तान से? क्या भारत में अच्छे गायक नहीं है? क्या भारत में अच्छे एक्टर एक्ट्रेसेस नहीं है? क्यों इनको पाकिस्तान का, मेरी दृष्टि में, गंध चाहिए हमारे देश में?
देखो, 140 करोड़ जनता है ना, सभी हमारे साथ है, देश के साथ है और पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ है। हर जगह, हर कंट्री में कोई ना कोई विरोध करने वाले मुट्ठी भर लोग होते हैं, लेकिन वो भूल जाते हैं कि हजारों की तादाद में जो शहीद हुए भारत में जवान, उनके परिवार क्या सोचते होंगे उनको देखकर कि वो आज वो क्रिकेट खेल रहे, मूवी कर रहे, तो उनका परिवार सोचता होगा हमारे बच्चे ने इस देश के लिए बलिदान दिया, और ये आज लोग उनके साथ क्रिकेट खेलते, मूवी कर रहे, वो क्या सोचते होंगे? आप तो बस पैसे के लिए सब कुछ कर रहे हो, लेकिन कभी देशभक्ति को जब मौका आए तभी स्टैंड तो लो। आज पुलवामा किया 2019 में, आज 24 में पहलगाम किया, 3 साल बाद फिर बड़ा आतंकवादी हमला करेगा। पाकिस्तान थोड़ी ना रुकने वाला है। आज मैंने आपको बताया, अमरनाथ यात्रा चल रही है, वहां जवान क्यों खड़े, किसके लिए खड़े? हमारे भारतीयों के लिए। कौन आतंकवादी हमला करने वाला? पाकिस्तान। आप जम्मू कश्मीर में जाके घर लीजिए ना, अभी सब ले सकते हैं, जाके लीजिए, रहिए। आप नहीं रह सकते क्योंकि आपको डर है कि वहां के लोग मार देंगे हमें, पाकिस्तान का कोई भी आदमी मार देगा। ये डर आज भी बना है,
बड़ी बात आपकी।
तो ये डर कहीं ना कहीं खत्म नहीं होगा। तो भारत सरकार को और हमें भी, एक भारतीय होने के नाते हमें भी स्टैंड लेने की जरूरत है। 200 के आसपास दुनिया में कंट्री है, पाकिस्तान को बॉयकॉट करो। 1947 में हमने पाकिस्तान को 1947 में हमने पाकिस्तान को जमीन दिया, वो जमीन हमारी है। जब वो हमसे वफादार नहीं हो पाया, वो किसी से वफादार क्यों होगा? तो
सही बात,
भारतीय एक साथ हो जाए, सरकार एक साथ हो जाए,
भारत के प्रति घृणा,
हम बिजनेस करेंगे। आप
नहीं, you're absolutely right, क्योंकि भारत के प्रति जो घृणा है पाकिस्तानियों के मन में, वो हमको काफिर मानते हैं। वो कहते हैं काफिरों को मार दो। बट सुशांत सरीन, should it be a government-led approach or a people-led approach or both?
I think it has to be both, but I think it's also important, we keep throwing these shibboleths people to people. I think it's the biggest nonsense, and I'll give you evidence for it. One, I keep asking everybody in government, including from the Ministry of External Affairs, please tell me, give me an audit of this people to people approach which you have followed for over 30-40 years. You've had hundreds of thousands of Pakistanis coming out here. Have you created a constituency for peace in Pakistan? No, none, nothing, zilch, zero, zip. Okay. Second, between 2004 and 2008, a period all of us remember very well, when a lot of people to people was happening. There was a lot of toing and froing, cultural exchanges, lawyers going, judges coming, businessmen going, all kinds of things happening. Gaurav, there were 17 major terror attacks in India, including the Mumbai train bombings, including many of, but I can count. I have a list of all those 17.
Yes.
Right? That was
I've
also
covered virtually all on ground.
Also the time that Zaveri Bazaar bombing happened in Bombay, in Sanjay Das city, right? All sorts of things were happening. And yet we were talking about people to people. This is the biggest fraud which is pulled on us. And people like Diljit Dosanjh and others who, will try and do virtue signaling. Music has no boundaries. Music has boundaries, damn it. Music has boundaries. Just because somebody else listens to your music does not mean they are in love with you. They are in love with you. They think that you are somebody who will be anti-India. You will be probably some kind of a closet Khalistani. I am not saying it. That is their sense. So people from Punjab particularly need to be extremely careful when they talk about this Punjab linkages, Punjabi language and all of that. Our Punjabi language is completely different from their Punjabi language now.
In fact, now they're shifting entirely to Urdu and very little Punjabi on the other side. Ashutosh, you wanted to come in and respond to Sushant Sareen.
No, I'm not here to respond to what Sushant Sareen is saying, but my basic question is, before putting blame on these film stars and film actors and cricketers, let's Government of India come out with a total breakdown with the relationship with the Pakistan. We are still having a diplomatic relationship with the Pakistan. We have only downgraded our relationship. Now the issue is, why so much love for the Pakistan by the Modi government? When they are killing our people on a daily basis, let's break diplomatic relations. Let's have no diplomatic communication with the Pakistan. But we are still continuing with that. So there's a lot of hypocrisy around this. The people on your channel will come and say all kinds of things, but they should tell to the government that you break relationship with the Pakistan, because Pakistan is not going to listen to you. They will keep coming. They will keep killing innocent Indians.
Okay, Dr. Tara Kartha, you want to quickly respond? The relationship downgraded but remains, or should we always have at least some basic level of contact, though downgraded, so that you know what's happening on the other side of the hill? Where do you stand on this? A government-led approach, that government should say, no cricket with Pakistan, not just bilateral, but even multilateral. Because if we have the diplomatic heft and if we have the financial heft, our effort should be ban Pakistan from ICC. If we cannot, we should just opt out and have our own league. Our IPL does so well, Pakistan out of it is Pakistan's loss.
No, that I 100% agree. I mean, you just had Defense Minister Rajnath Singh refusing to sign a document at SCO, at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, because of Pahalgam. That is the level at which we are taking this. The music has no boundaries and all. I don't believe it. You have enough Indian actresses, you can use those. You cannot have this two-face policy. I don't think it is honorable to our soldiers to say that, we will have cricket and how. I mean, it's the morale of our soldiers on the ground. As the previous gentleman said, it's completely unacceptable.
Okay,
But
you
what
agree,
I
Sanjay
also
Jha?
say-
Okay,
No,
go on,
the
ma'am.
thing-
Complete your point. I'll bring in Sanjay Jha.
Gaurav,
Just
my
one
Sir,
short
give me 30
point.
seconds. Give me 30 seconds. Tara Kartha is just completing a point. Go on, ma'am.
See, even during the height of the Russian and Soviet Cold War, they were always talks. It was open because you want to avoid danger, which is why the question why the embassies are kept open is purely for that and nothing else.
Okay. Sanjay Jha, is Aman Ki Asha truly a way to lull India into complacency before that next major terror attack and that so-called golden era of relationship between India and Pakistan that some commentators speak of in Dr. Manmohan Singh's era, 2004 to 2007, where there was this 4-point formula, we'll sort out Kashmir, demilitarize Siachen. Pakistan was actually misleading us. They wanted us to demilitarize Siachen. When we did, while there were these terror attacks happening, including 2006, they were preparing for 26/11, sir.
Gaurav, let me tell you, we have focused a lot on cinema, rock stars, and cricket stars. But what is the elephant in the room? The information war is done by governments. And if you look at both the SCO as well as the Quad release, they mentioned Pahalgam terror attack, but they excluded Pakistan. So that has been the diplomatic failure of the government, which basically makes Pakistan triumphant and India look weak and absolutely compromised. That we all know that yes, Pakistan sponsors terrorism, including Pahalgam, but the Indian government has not been capable of influencing even its own allies in the international forum. And that is what should be the core worry for all of us as citizens of our country.
Sushant Sareen, India's efforts, do they lack that effort? Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs, NSA level dialogue, EAM level dialogue, PM level dialogues, and all of that. Have we failed to isolate Pakistan? Whether you talk about international fora or cricket or films, do we still see some hope? One day Pakistan will reform, one day we'll have good relations.
Gaurav, if you are realistic, there is no such hope. People like me have harbored these hopes and we've seen our hopes shattered. So I don't have any such hope. But on your question, look, yes, I think some of our diplomatic campaigns could have been done much better, need to be done much better. We should learn from some of the setbacks that we've had in terms of how to engage with the international community, how to start setting our narrative, how to ensure that whatever information we are putting out is credible, is compelling, and is relatable to other people. So I think there has been definitely a lapse in that. And anybody who denies it is not doing any service to this country. So yes, on the strategic communications field, we need to do a lot. But I'll just add two very, very quick points. One, listen, even the worst enemies in the world keep diplomatic relations. If they don't have direct diplomatic relations, they hold an interest section in a third embassy in a particular country, so that they have some kind of lines of communication open. Now, it is very cavalier of people like Ashutosh, who probably don't understand how these things work, to simply pronounce that ban everything, banish everything. If he wants to do that, sure, by all means do it. But that's a very puerile way of handling these things. Thirdly, and this is the last point I wanted to make, look, people need to be very careful that when an enemy is paying you compliments, he thinks you are a useful idiot. So when people especially from the Indian Punjab, because they think that there is a certain restiveness in Punjab, the moment they start lauding somebody from the Sikh community, they will be able to seduce them, they will be able to attract them, they will be able to use them against India. This is what most of these people who are claimed to be artists and very successful artists simply do not understand. This is
Sir, I
what
have 30 seconds. Since you named Ashutosh, I have to get him to respond. Ashutosh, quickly respond, sir.
See, Gaurav, I really amused to listen these kinds of words. You know what is the state of India's foreign policy? We are thrown out from the we are thrown out from the Maldives. We are nowhere in Bangladesh, and the two biggest countries of the world, China, is openly supporting Pakistan, and America, Donald Trump, the great friend of Mr. Narendra Modi, says that Mr. Asim Munir is a great person. I love him. And also,
Yes,
one of the generals says that Pakistan
he doesn't even know Asim Munir's name.
I do not. Mr. Sushant Sareen, be civil. Be civil.
You are so ignorant.
And one of the generals, one of the American generals has got the guts to say Pakistan is a phenomenal partner in anti-terrorism programs. Now, this is India's foreign policy. What is India's foreign policy? I just want to know.
Has India's foreign policy, does this show weakness or problems in India's foreign policy? Last 30 seconds, ma'am.
See, there's no doubt that we could have done a better job in sustaining the terrorism, the whole terrorism dialogue. We did drop the ball a couple of years earlier. You shifted entirely to China. You were looking just at that, and you thought Pakistan was, you just ignored Pakistan. Now, that's easy for us to say as desk warriors, but I know that given the limited resources which you have, that's about all you can do. But we need to pull this up. We need to pull up the narrative from everywhere, not just diplomacy. You need to seed this in universities everywhere.
It has to be the whole of the nation approach. I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. I've just absolutely run out of time. But do keep one thing in mind. India is at war with Pakistan. And in this war, every Indian has to be that warrior. Lend your shoulder to the wheel. This is the time we need our Bhamashahs, we need our Maharana Prataps to fight the Mughals or what was happening at that point of time. Because remember, Pakistanis think it is the Kafirs they are fighting.